Nothing personal though. I'm not I'm not saying nothing personal, bro. But just don't fucking say blonde again. I'm so fucking tired of hearing you say blonde.
To my defense, the mother of my children is a brunette.
Hey man, golly, I'm so tired of this blonde shit. But nothing personal though.
Raw talk, still nothing personal. Welcome to nothing personal. With Jorge Sanchez on a vote. Deep dive, every take surgical. Say it how it is, but it's nothing personal.
All right, well, here we are. Nothing personal. What's up, my brother? Good to see you, man. Got a chance to come. My boy Andrew. And now the Age of Attraction is out. So now here we get a chance to talk. So I want to ask, now I'm going to jump right into it, Andrew. There's obviously a lot of questions. A lot of people want to know about you. First off, what made you, I mean, you were owning your own bar. You know, you had your life in Baltimore. What made you, when they reached out, say, okay, I'll take a chance and go on this show of Age of Attraction?
Well, this was a good time in my life. The business was in a good place. I had a good team in place where I was able to step away and not be as hands-on as I had previously been, you know, the last 15 years of my career. I was single.
Okay.
But ultimately, my life just felt stagnant. Just felt like I was in need of a life experience. I was in need of something that was going to challenge me. I think if you ask people closest to me, they would say that this isn't something that they think that I would do.
Right.
It was very out of my comfort zone. I'm typically more of an introverted person. It takes me a little bit of time to warm up, and I think you can attest to that. I mean, you saw me the first few days on the show. Everyone was like,
we didn't know you were there.
Yeah, exactly.
Very quiet.
Yeah, very quiet. So it was definitely out of my comfort zone. And early on, I definitely, I thought about maybe taking off and running back home. That's, how anxious I was to put myself out there.
Mm-hmm. Now, the funny thing is, and we spoke to Derek and we spoke to John. What people don't realize is that wasn't a 1 or 2 day event. That was 2 weeks. So it was a lot of time that we had an opportunity to not only, come together as friends, but then with these dates. Mm-hmm. So, and I know I was there. I witnessed your uneasiness with it. So when you get there, you get to this show, and now there's this group of women. First off, before I go to that, is there, do you say, okay, I generally date younger women, or I generally date older women? Is there a preference?
No, there's not a preference at all. My past 2 relationships were on the younger side, but the mother of my children's a few years older than me, so.
Wow, yeah.
I don't have a preference. Recently, yes, I have dated younger, but no preference at all.
Right. So basically, because I mean, I think that, and as I spoke to the other guys, there's always this issue with older men dating younger women because that's the polarizing topic. But in your instance, like you said, the mother of your children is older than you. So there is no preference with you. You like what you like. So then going into it, all right, so then you get there and you see all these women, and you have an eyewitness to, you had different options. What made you choose Libby?
Just what she showed me, day in, day out. It wasn't just, she's a good looking girl, I'm a good looking guy, let's do this, the attraction there. And day 2, we're in the promise room. It was a few weeks of me getting to know her showing me multiple sides of herself before me making the decision to invite her into the promise room. But what stuck out at me is, yes, there is this young and fun and playful, youthful side of Libby, but there's also a very sincere, more knowledgeable, more mature beyond her years. You just have to make her feel safe to open up that side of her. And it took a little bit. It took me having to, kind of reassure her, build that safe place for her to let her guard down and let me see that side of her.
Now that's significant because what you're talking, right, that's growth. Like that's something that you went through. And obviously we know the 2 weeks you had an opportunity to do that. Do you feel like that's always depicted when you see it? It's like, oh, well, she's, like you said, young fun. But truthfully, y'all had very, serious conversations and moments. Yeah. Is that right? Or
we had a lot. I mean, one of the things that I look back on the most is the nights that we would stay up when we were living together in Vancouver. And we would be up till 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, just sitting on the couch, having deep life conversations, talking about our childhood, talking about how we were raised, our parents, the trauma in our lives that we've went through. And, that you don't see all of that, but, I miss those times. There's no cell phones, no TV. It was just us getting to know each other on such a deeper level. What I think is difficult for Libby is she hides behind her laughter and her sound bites and her funny comments because she's afraid to show that side of her. It's a side of her that's very private for her. It's a side of her that she doesn't let just anyone see.
Right.
So I feel very lucky, and it definitely showed me how I have to show up in a relationship. I think in my past, I wanted someone to make me feel safe. I wanted someone to go 100%, and I wouldn't meet them.
Right.
And then it would get to a point where like, hey, I need more from you. You're not vulnerable with me. You're not letting me in every, part of your life. And I would be like, oh, I'm going to do better. I'm going to do better. I'm going to do better. And I would never do better. I wanted that person to give me the security and create the safe place for me. And I was never doing that for my partner. I saw very early on with Libby that if I didn't create that safe space for her, if I didn't show up in our relationship, how people have previously shown up for me, if I stuck to the cycle and the way that I typically show up in relationships, that she was never going to let her guard down. She was never going to feel safe enough with me to show me that other side of her.
So you know what the funny thing is, and that's beautiful. I think that you said something. It's funny. Each one of the guys, as I bring y'all in, they all touch on something. And since I lived it, I know people don't get a chance to see those long conversations because obviously Netflix can't show every conversation, deep conversation. They're not going to show that because it's a very quick and truncated process with this. But the deep conversations that you have, which basically are the foundation of that relationship, and we don't see that. Do you think that you've seen the first 5 episodes? Do you think it's an accurate portrayal of y'all's relationship?
It is in a sense. The early stages of our relationship was very playful, very, funny, really light banter back and forth between us, both of us, maybe not taking it that serious.
Okay.
But I do think that it doesn't portray the entirety of our relationship and how deep our connection was going into the promise room. It makes it seem like good-looking guy, good-looking girl, a lot of fun. Day 2, we're in the promise room.
Right.
That's what it makes it look like.
That's not how it happened.
It was a few weeks of me getting to know her and me getting to know both sides of her. The side that I think shows a lot the first 5 episodes, which is her youthful, fun, playful side, and doesn't highlight as much of the deeper side of her. I think there's a good clip of it when we're playing soccer on the beach, when I'm talking, about my soccer career or lack of soccer career. And I'm struggling a little bit to kind of find the words and kind of tell her what it was to me. And she made a comment and it was like, oh, it's like a fun fact of yours. Like now, don't think of it in like a bad light. It's a fun fact. And I was like, you know what? It was such a mature thing that stands out to me that she said in those first 5 episodes. And there's a lot of that where, she hits me with a different perspective on something that, maybe I'm a little regretful about, or maybe I'm embarrassed about. And she finds a way of kind of turning that narrative around a little bit and putting a more mature twist on it, or making me see it for what it really was. And it is now. It's not something I should ever be embarrassed about. It's a fun fact of mine. It's something that I did in the past. I should be proud of it. I shouldn't be embarrassed to talk about it. But, that's something that sticks out at me from those first 5 episodes.
So, like, for instance, now, the critics will say, oh, look, he's a 39-year-old man, his bar owner. He has
38 on the show.
Okay. Hey, 59 on the show. I know. Hey, I did my birthday. But 38, 39-year-old man. He has 2 daughters. And family has a bar. They have nothing in common. But in fact, how is that true?
No, not at all. It's honestly very surprising how much we do have in common. you know, we both are very much into interior design. We both are into fashion. We both like creating content and taking pictures. Like we both have a very good aesthetic for it. And we connect on those things. It's actually, we're more connected. We're more connected than you would think. There's a lot more than just, you know, the very shallow surface level of attraction, you know? Um, yeah.
So let me ask you this: what would you say has been your greatest challenge? Now, obviously, so when I was there with Derek and John, they have different experiences. John is dealing with an older woman and her relational things she's had in her life. Derek's dealing with a younger woman like Libby, who may not have as many experiences, right? But what would you say in the time that you spent with Libby? What would you say would be the greatest challenge that you faced?
The greatest challenge that we've faced, I think, is we both have a guard up. I have a guard up because I've been hurt in my past. And, you know, going into the show, I even had a little bit of a preconceived notion that, you know, if I do date someone younger, it's not going to work out because my last two relationships didn't work out and we weren't in the right places. And I think she has her guard up because her previous relationships didn't end well and she's been hurt. So I think what challenged us the most was creating that safe place for one another so that we could show up and be vulnerable and let our guard down, and even open up that door for someone to step through it.
So, you know, on the show, of course, the way they put it, they hear you saying, "Oh, she's young. I like blondes. I like blondes. I like blondes." Right? And the truth is, obviously, the fact that Libby's blind, okay, that's it. But what is it that actually made you pursue Libby? What is it like? Because there were other women. I mean, I want everybody to know there were other women. They were there.
There
What
was.
is it about Libby that made you pursue that? And because I want you to let everybody know, because it's not just like, oh yeah, she was hot and blonde, and that's why I would pursue her. No, that may have been the initial attraction, but what is it that made you pursue her?
I think it's her aura. And I think you see that in some of the episodes, you know, especially when David sat down with her and she's like, "Oh, David's like my dad's age." Like she has this like aura where she just it's vibrant. She's I don't know, she just like kind of steals the room and just like makes it glow and light up. And I don't know, it was just very attractive, but it's also there's a confidence to her. You know, she doesn't take shit from anyone, you know, like she doesn't. So I think some of it was just this initial like, okay, her aura, the energy that she gives off. But the other side of it too is like she's not a pushover by any means. And like she'll give it right back to you. I mean, we joke, she's like one of the guys, you know, like
Agreed.
she's got this confidence to her as well. And I think it was just a mix of those.
So, if you look back at this experience, what do you? So you came in here and like you said, you're very introverted, and I saw the growth as I saw with everyone. What do you think you learned? What was the most important thing you say? What you learned about yourself from this age of attraction process?
I think the biggest thing that I learned is that you'll never have a healthy relationship if you're not willing to show up in your relationship how you want the other person to show up for you.
That's good.
You know, that's what I learned, that if you want a healthy relationship, I need to show up how I would want someone to show up for me. Not I'm going to let that person do all the work, show up, you know, create a safe place for me, and I'm just going to be over here like, thank you, you know, and not do the same for that person.
So that's good. So you know, the thing that the allure with the Age of Attraction show is it's such a polarizing topic. They're saying that the reason why this show is going to get so much popularity is because while the other dating shows, you know, have their little, you know, niche and their little cliches, the Age of Attraction is dealing with a polarizing topic that's been for years, right? And generally speaking, it's always older men with younger women, but now we're seeing that it goes both ways. I think personally, you know, in my estimation, that attraction is attraction, and the Age of Attraction did us a favor and putting us in an environment where we couldn't bring up the age. How do you feel about age gap relationships? Do you feel a certain way? Do you feel like certain people should talk to certain people? What's your take on it?
You know, I think there's definitely some parameters around it. You know, I do think that there's some things that that aren't appropriate. You know, I do think there's certain age gaps that I probably wouldn't sit here and be like, okay, you know, like I feel confident about that. You know, as I even sit here, I think to myself, like, how would I feel if one of my daughters at 23 years old was, you know, dating a 38-year-old, you know, I'd have a lot of questions for that guy. Um, you know, so I'm not going to sit here and say that I condone every single age difference relationship. I think, you know, um, you definitely need to see that. You definitely need to make sure that those people are aligned. But ultimately, I really think it boils down to just communication and life experiences. You know, um, Libby and I communicate better in a long distance relationship than the communication I had in a lot of my previous relationships. And we're doing that long distance. You know, that speaks to the maturity of our communication skills with one another. And, you know, I don't think that age has a parameter on your communication skills.
So that's interesting. So then, what you, so you as a dad wouldn't approve you dating. So typically, basically, what you're saying is, as a dad, if you had a 22-year-old and she was dating 38, you would kind of side eye him. You'd have some questions.
Yeah, I would 100% side eye him, and I, you know, was prepared to
Deal with Libby's dad side eye.
that as well. And I will say this: they have been amazing. Her parents have been very accepting. I've met them a few times now, done dinner with them. They could not be more welcoming and accepting, and that makes me, you know, really see what kind of family and what kind of support Libby has. They're amazing people, and you know, I applaud them. I'm not sure that I would be the same. I would try and be understanding, but I think I'd have a lot of questions. Yeah.
Interesting. So now that is, I find that so interesting because the age gap relationship, that does play a part in you. That is a factor for you. You think that is, you don't think that they're all appropriate.
Yeah, I'd probably have to sit here and say that I don't.
That's interesting. On the age of attraction, you felt like, so then if you feel like that, right? Did that not cross your mind when you were like, okay, I'm going to do the show because there's a possibility I can end up with one of these young chicks.
Yeah. Well, I felt like I was in a really good like position. I was 38 going into the show, so I could have dated older and I could have dated younger. I was kind of in that sweet spot to where like it wouldn't have been too crazy for me to, you know, meet a 28, 29, 30-year-old, but it also too wouldn't be too crazy for me to be with a 49, 50, 51-year-old either. So I felt like I was in a good position where like 10 years either way, you know, wouldn't be too crazy. You know, going onto the show, I didn't think that the age gaps of who we would choose would be so drastic.
Yeah, and I meant to bring that up because I wanted to make sure I said fuck you. Personally, fuck you. Because I think on the show you make it, I didn't even know there were 6-year-olds here. Fuck you. And then basically the way you feel, like you definitely, my age gap, forget it. You're like, what the fuck? And I understand that too. I mean, I have to deal with that in my own realm. But I think that, so what's funny is you and I have a difference of opinions when it comes to age gaps. While, you know, it's funny, a friend of mine said, how would you feel if your daughter was dating a 60-year-old man? And I said, does he love her? Does he take care of her? Does he provide for her? Is he aligned with her? Then I don't give a shit. Because my standpoint, the reason why I said that is because to me, I'd rather have my daughter with an older man who really loves her and takes care of her than a younger man who's going upside her head. You know, so to me, in my estimation, it's not the age, it's the connection. If the connection is good, I don't give a shit. But of course, I'm sitting at an age where I'm sitting here at 60.
Well, let me backtrack just a little bit. It's not, I wouldn't sit here and say like, I don't condone it. I would have a lot of questions and I would want to see, you know, and I would want to see, you know, consistently that this is right. You know, that person's showing up for my daughter, that, you know, there's, you know, no, I don't know, I guess no, like, I don't even, let me think about that for a second.
No, I get it. Like you want to make sure that he shows up on the spot for her, aligned to her, protective of her. But you know what? Here's the thing I'm asking you. Wouldn't you have those same feelings if he was 25 years old?
I would.
So it's like, I don't know that it's so I think as fathers, because we're both fathers, I think I'm protective of my daughter no matter who she dates, be it 25 to 55. And I think the only issue, which is age of attraction addresses, is why are you, the question comes to why. Why are you dating this younger girl? You know what I mean?
I think where I would struggle with it is if I was a 40-year-old hanging out at college bars trying to pick up 20, 21-year-olds, like I would have a problem with that. Like, what's this dude doing? Obviously, this is an entirely different situation. You're going on a dating show where you don't know their ages. You're basing your connection off of what that person is showing you. You know, what they leave off of this that hasn't really come to light that much is the fact that you didn't have social media either.
Right.
You didn't have your cell phone.
Right.
You didn't have any contact with the outside world.
Right.
You know, I couldn't go on someone's Instagram and see that they had 2 kids and be like, you know what? Looks like a beautiful woman, but like, I don't want to merge families. I'm not, she's not for me. That could be your person. But you made this preconceived notion because you saw their social media that she has 2 kids. Then that's not for me.
Absolutely.
I think that, I wish there was a little bit more light on that we didn't have cell phones. We had no outside communication at all. Like what I based my decision on going to the promise room with Libby was what she showed me over the course of multiple weeks of getting to know her. That's what it was based off of. So,
well, I think the beauty, and I did not know this, the beauty of the age of attraction now is it disproved you. It proved you wrong. and no, I'm just saying because the beauty of the age of attraction is Drew might have been in his head about a 22-year-old dating a 22-year-old, but
I was in my head,
right?
I struggled,
and that's cool. But the beauty of that. So, and I want to address that. You struggled with the fact that she was 22.
Oh yeah. I mean, I remember multiple conversations with producers being like, this hasn't worked out for me dating younger before. And by dating younger, in their 20s, just younger than my age. It hasn't worked out. And, I did go in there with this preconceived notion of like, it's not going, we're not going to have things in common. We're not going to be able to communicate effectively. Like it's just not going to work. Like, and that stuck with me. And then you throw in the long distance too of, we're going to get out of this thing. She's in San Diego, I'm in Baltimore. I was like, this isn't going to work. Like I really was struggling with it to be like, I know she's showing me a more sincere side of her. She's growing on me. She's showing up in ways that, early on, I didn't know if she was going to be able to. And I really struggle with that. And I think, the second half of the show, I think will show that I was struggling with, hey, can this really work? Like,
well, I think the beauty of what you're saying is that the age of attraction is going to dispel. For some, some people are going to be set in their ways. It's going to dispel for some that polarizing topic, that connection is most important. And that age isn't the most important. But I think with you, it kind of put it in your own face. Like it basically challenged you to your own beliefs. And that's interesting.
No, I definitely was challenged. And, I had to let that go. And it wasn't until I was like, I'm going to let it go. It really wasn't. And it was towards the end. And I remember, talking to my producer and being like, do you care about her? Do you love this girl? Okay, then it doesn't matter.
Right.
Like the distance won't matter, the age won't matter, none of that will matter. What's going to matter is if you can't get out of your head and accept this and accept what she's shown you, accept that you care about her, accept that you love her, like you're gonna blow this up. You're gonna ruin it because it didn't work out with a girl or two before that was younger.
Right. That's beautiful. Well, I'm going to wrap this up with keeping in alignment with my podcast, Nothing Personal. Can you do me a favor and not fucking mention the word blonde again ever? Okay? Nothing personal, though. I'm not saying nothing personal, bro. But just don't fucking say blonde again. I'm so fucking tired of hearing you say blonde.
To my defense, the mother of my children is a brunette.
Hey, man, golly, I'm so tired of this blonde shit. But nothing personal, though. Hey, great for having you on here, Drew.
All right, appreciate it.
Let's get into it. personal.